These Cheetos are making me thirsty.
That was stupid. I hate it.
Yeah, that was. But why don't we talk about what I was talking about? It's a lot more interesting. All I'm saying is, butt rock is the next big thing.
Bro, I sent you guys a picture of me during my butt rock phase, and you know I love butt rock. All right, it's the best.
You look like a Nickelback bassist.
That was so insulting, but also such a compliment. I just don't know.
Austin, you know who Austin looks like in that picture? He looks like the male heartthrob that comes into an episode of Saved by the Bell that like Lisa falls in love with for just that one episode, and he breaks her heart.
He
Like
outside of the
Screech is
hairstyle,
super
he is
jealous of Austin. Screech is
Yeah,
super jealous of
yeah.
Austin. Yeah.
It's like it's like
your little
Zach's
brother
like
had a
step
strong
brother or
resemblance to
something.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
There is a bit of JTT to it. That is right.
Yeah, I mean it was he was like 5 years after Home Improvement had stopped filming, so he was totally in on the times.
Yeah.
I think that was
A
a
little bit of
2007
Zachary,
picture.
a little bit of Zachary Ty Bryant, but mostly Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Yeah, he was that was 2007. He was like a junior or a sophomore in high school, and he was like fucking trying to like make, you know, FSU. He was basically like going to the FSU football camps at that time. So
Okay,
he was
that's it
getting like
for my home improvement
130
sound
tackles
effect.
as a defensive tackle at CSCA.
Well,
So
yeah, he looked like if he was a defensive tackle, he was like 160 dripping wet.
yeah. Also, the largest person playing Division 1A football in Broward County.
Division 1A, that's college?
No, Division 1A high school football in Broward County, like CSCA football. He would have been the biggest guy out
Oh,
there
I
at,
got you. I
at
see what you're saying.
175 pounds. Because I
The
was
high
way
school
bigger than everybody.
classification. I got you.
Dude, I was so much bigger than everybody as a 235-pound tight end. Like that, I was running over. Like
You were gronking. You were gronking these dudes that were often
I
fast.
scored a touchdown, and I wasn't even good.
I scored a touchdown too, and I didn't even play offense.
I don't even want to say what just happened, but I'm. Oh, that was great.
Titties?
Yeah, that's exactly what just happened.
I don't know. Literally, the only other thing that could have gotten that reaction from you, Danny, would be if a anthropomorphic keg walked by and was like, "I'm tapped. Come have me." So I think the likelihood that it was titties was a lot better.
Yeah, I love it.
Anyway, welcome to ChuggieBets, where we talk shit, drink
Time to
beers,
start.
and make
Time to
games like
start.
that.
Yeah,
Right?
I love you, Missy. Go on now.
All right, let's chug a beer while this beautiful intro plays.
All right.
Who's ready to chug some beers and make some bad gambling picks? Welcome to ChuggieBets.
This right here, I asked my wife, Christine, to pick me up some fun beers because I have Busch Lights, but I didn't know if I'd have enough for tonight. So I was like, give me a 12-pack of something when you're at the store. And she went with this Samuel Adams Wicked Easy Light and Hazy Session IPA.
That I've had, and that is good.
Yeah, it's delightful. It's a little bit fruity. It's not very hoppy, and it's very drinkable.
So there's a lot of places coming out with like drinkable beers. I know Lagunitas is one of them.
I think there's a big shift from IPAs to more like session style, more drinkable beers that aren't so.
Is session style
that are
like
more. Session
the
just
word?
means it's very drinkable. Usually lower alcohol content, lighter beers, a kind of beer you could chug, basically.
Like session style is definitely lower alcohol content, but like I've always liked an IPA that was like. So my favorite beer that's ever been brewed from any place that's ever made a beer was this local brewery down in Miami called Concrete Beach. They made a Stiltsville, which was a hoppy pilsner, and It was like an overhopped Pilsner from I forget what kind of hops they used, but it was just so fucking delicious. And they ended up going under during pandemic. And they sold.
didn't
I
go
mean, they
under.
still they're still kind of around. They sold a couple of their good recipes to a bigger.
They
got
didn't.
bought out.
Give you,
Concrete Beach was never its own thing. It was opened by Sam Adams, and during the pandemic, when they
no, it was its own thing before Sam Adams. Was it never? Was I
it was
always
never.
tricked?
It was always Sam Adams, and they
Okay.
converted the whole brewery to Dogfish Head.
Okay.
You got tricked by the Busch Light commercial.
Well, then in that case, then Sam Adams is sitting on the best beer recipe in the world, and they're not making it.
That's rude.
Yeah, and it's called fucking Stiltsville, and they need to be out there making that shit because it was the best. So we all like a light ass fucking Pilsner. Everybody out there likes a light ass fucking Pilsner. But the one problem with a light ass Pilsner, we like hops.
Oh.
We like hops, man.
Yeah, that too.
You know?
Yeah. I don't know.
So,
I
like,
mean, hops are
just
fine.
add some hops.
They don't need. Yeah, I don't need to go crazy on the hops, but yeah,
They don't go. The thing is, out on Stiltsville, they didn't go crazy on it. They just like added like the right amount of like IPA. It was like the most mild IPA flavor to a beer like Miller Lite at a 5% alcohol content. It was like the most perfect Pilsner.
I guess I should say I don't have anything against hops. I like hops. It's the bitterness. I'm not typically a fan of bitter. So Matt just joined us. Hey, bud.
Hey, boys. How are y'all?
We got
Cheers.
good. We got quadfecta here for you. Matt, me, Sunshine, and Danny. So you didn't miss much. We were just talking about beer and
Matt, you used to drink some Stiltsvilles with me, right?
I love Stiltsville. It's great.
Oh man, that was
one of my. I put in my top 10. My top 10 favorite beers. I can't tell any of the other ones. I'd have to think about it, but it's really good.
It was definitely my number one beer that doesn't exist anymore. I don't know about my number one beer of all time, but it's definitely my number one beer they're not making now.
Here, I want to get everyone's take on this. So I want you to sit with this for like 5 seconds and then hit me with your responses, okay? Rank these 3 beers, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Bud Light, Miller Lite, Coors Light. I want your best to worst.
Easy.
They're three-way tie.
Lead us off, Matt. What do you got?
Easily the worst is Coors Light, then it's Bud Light, then it is better tasting, low calorie Miller Lite.
Okay, so the worst I'm going to come up next. The worst has to be Bud Light because of your alcohol to calorie ratio. And that's the only reason. It's the alcohol to calorie ratio. Number 1 is clearly Miller Lite because of your taste to calorie ratio, right? You get the best taste to alcohol to calorie ratio. If you add all those 3 together, you turn it around. Miller Lite's number 1. Coors Light's right there in the middle. It's a good sweet spot. I don't think it's as bad as Bud Light. Bud Light, way too many calories for how bad you taste in your alcohol content.
Sonny, what are your thoughts?
It's top to bottom, Miller Lite, Bud Light, Coors Light.
Yeah. Oh. My man was.
But I think you guys are not considering the calorie content enough.
Can you tell me the calorie content of a Bud Light, Danny?
Danny's probably the only person I think who could.
122. It's between 117 and 122, but yeah.
I'm with Danny though. It's Miller Lite, then just behind Miller Lite is Coors Light, and then a good drop off before Bud Light. I'm gonna drink all of them, but Bud Light is the one for me that is most typically skunky or has that sort of skunky flavor to it, which might be a production issue for them, even though there is literally an Anheuser-Busch facility here in Jacksonville.
I used to love Bud Light, and they changed something on me, man. They changed something on me, like when I was around 25. I don't know what it was, but they changed something, and it started tasting different.
Miller Lite and Coors Light, I think for me are mostly interchangeable. I think I would give the edge to Miller Lite.
Coors Light definitely tastes a little worse. It definitely tastes a little worse.
Coors Light is definitely. I understand what you're saying about Bud Light, right? So sometimes the production issue, you can have great Bud Light and shit Bud Light, and there's a wide spectrum.
That actually matters way more with Budweiser because you get the real good flavor with good Budweiser.
I think actually I would rank them the way Matt and Sunshine did if we're talking draft beer at like a bar. but I'm picturing like cans and cans.
Coors Light draft
Bud
is
Light's the worst
awful.
for sure.
Awful. A pitcher of Coors Light is the worst option. Like, if
I
it
would
like
never.
a
I would never
plastic-
order a draft course. I would never
Oh.
order a draft course, ever. Draft Miller all day. Draft
Yeah.
Miller all the time. Never order a draft course. I would get draft Bud Light, but draft Budweiser is like the thing that's like it could be the best draft beer you've ever had, the best draft like golden American lager you've ever had, or it can just like you take a sip of it and it will make you like have your daycare stomach flu as soon as it touches your lips. You know, it's just the way the lines work on a fucking Budweiser. I don't know why they just can't fucking make it always good.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad we settled this.
Okay,
We
so
managed- we
now
managed
that
to find
we've
the
done,
middle ground.
I don't think we really settled anything. I think that Danny's argument about the calorie to alcohol ratio is just not right.
Not good.
oh really?
Coors Light is a bad tasting beer.
No. I just
not good tasting.
okay. Outside of the Miller's the one that's 96 calories. So
Yeah,
outside
and it
of
is
that
a good
group-
beer. 96
No,
calories
but-
and good.
Yes, I agree. But what I'm saying is like the other like the calorie to like if we're talking Bud Light to Coors Light, let's just forget about calories for a moment. You know,
122 to 96, but go on.
110
No,
to 102 from what I'm
is
seeing.
Coors Light 96?
It's only
calories?
110?
Mhm.
Oh, they fucking lowered it since. Okay.
Danny,
That's
it was
not good.
110 when I worked for them.
Okay. Whatever.
I guess what I was
I've
saying
lost,
is
I've
I
lost
feel-
like 70 pounds since I stopped drinking Bud Light. So like, you guys can fucking go on your. You guys
we should
can
do
go
the
on your-
math
it's
and
only,
figure out how
Danny,
It's
many
only
beers.
20 calories a beer.
Danny,
We should
you
do the
didn't-
math and figure out how many beers you have to consume to offset 70 pounds worth of alcohol consumption when we're talking 34 calories
The amount
per
of beer
beer.
pong we played in college, Al, it could have been just like 3 weeks.
That's 7,000 beers, I think. Rough math. Isn't it
One
about
football season.
3,500
It was
calories?
one football
pound?
season of beers.
So,
Yeah.
Danny, do you think it's possible that maybe you've lost the weight because you've been working hard and you're like a rock solid man and
And eating
you know,
better?
it has nothing to do with the beer you choose?
Nope.
It is all the beer.
Yeah.
For sure it
Uh,
is.
Is that Yingling you're drinking?
Oh, these were left over at my house from the Super Bowl.
No,
I hate that I like Yingling.
I would love.
What's wrong with Yingling?
So this is what I would like to say. All the people that brought over Bud Light, fuck you. To Luke Malone, thank you for leaving
Yeah.
Yingling.
Yingling's great. I think I don't like Yingling because I think whoever
Christopher
owned
Riker.
Yingling was like came out and supported
you.
Trump and shit and like not to get into politics, but I was like, oh, so I shouldn't drink Yingling. But I like Yingling, and the bar that's
it's
like
good.
right down the road from me always has it on draft for like $4, and I'm like, I'm gonna drink a bunch of Yinglings every time I go there.
Dude,
But then I
Yingling
feel bad.
used $5 pitchers our entire college career, and it was fucking awesome. I love
Yeah.
Yingling.
Yes.
I think that one of my greatest things is when I moved down to Florida because Yingling has a facility in Tampa. When I moved down to Florida, I could get Yingling, and I've been hearing all about it,
Like everywhere. Yeah.
and it was awesome, fucking
I
amazing.
think Yingling is as much a Florida beer as it is a Pennsylvania beer.
Dude, I don't even know if this is good podcast discussion or what, but like, do you remember when Everett came to us to discuss like raising the price of happy hour Yingling from $5? He was like the guy who ran the on-campus bar. He was the one in charge of like the prices and everything. Came
This is
to,
a
like-
grown man, you know. We're college kids. This is a grown adult.
also. Al and I were finishing college, so we were like 32, so we were grown men also. So
I
like
do
we were.
have-
Yeah.
Anyway,
will-
he was coming to us to like talk to us about like raising the price of this, and we're like, well, no, you shouldn't do it. And
I was like,
And
something's
we
got to be
convinced
for
him.
$5.
we convinced him to keep Yingling $5 for at least 2 or 3 more. Like Jay, like Missy's sister, came in, ran the rat, and kept Yingling for $5 for at least 2 more years.
I do have a little bit of a little bit of science here, though. So if Danny switched from Bud Light to Miller Lite and lost 70 pounds, that means he did it in 1 year. That
It
means he
wasn't
would
1
have
year, bud. It
he
wasn't
would
1
have
year.
Hang on.
you would have to drink 17,500 Miller Lights to offset the calorie difference in order to lose that.
Yes, I did it
Yeah.
in 1 year. I did it in 1 week.
Congratulations, bud.
I did it in 1 week.
Let's
What's
actually
that? What's that break down to
Proud
per
of you,
day?
Dano.
That breaks down to what?
47
200?
beers a day.
47 beers a day.
That's
That's like
it. In order to
3
lose
cases.
the weight.
It was really that those pounds came out between 27 and 37. But
I mean,
yeah,
Matt,
it was
what,
a 10-year haul, but
another thing that doesn't take into account, Matt, is all the stupendously disgusting beer shits consuming 47 beers a day would lead to. So just the water weight alone that he's shitting out like a fire hose
hold
probably
on.
gets him there
If
half
you're
as fast.
drinking Bud Light, you don't have the beer shits.
Or
If you're
twice as fast.
drinking fucking Funky
Danny, if you're
Buddhas,
drinking 47 beers a day, you're gonna have disgusting beer shits. I don't
Doesn't
care
matter.
if it's the fucking shit
I
the
think
monks
if I
brew
drank
in
47
the Nepalese.
I think I could put
mountains.
together a look, I have a good job now. I'm not gonna do this. But
Good.
I think
do it.
I could put together a video of me drinking 47 beers a day where I don't have disgusting beer shits.
No,
If I'm only drinking Busch Light. Only drinking
not
Busch
not without performance enhancers.
Light. Oh.
You know, if you're taking what's the opposite of stool softeners? Stool hardeners.
Oh, that's what you mean by
You
performance
shove it off
enhancers.
of your ass.
Correct.
You take one rock, shove it in your ass.
Oh, that's what you meant by performance enhancers.
Correct. Well, I mean,
thought
you
you
need
meant-
other performance enhancers just to stay conscious enough to.
I
record
thought
a
you
video,
meant the
but-
stuff that keeps you awake.
Yeah, well, that too.
It also makes your fucking, poop hard. So
Yeah, well, I guess that's a 2-for-1 then.
yeah.
Have you ever heard of
But-
the July 4th Marathon Challenge? Now, I have a question for you. What would you think you would do fastest? Drink 26 beers, travel 26 miles on a treadmill, or eat 26 hot dogs? If you had to choose
Drink
one of those
26
legs,
beers.
Yeah, 26
easily.
beers, and then it's
26.
hot dogs, and then a very long way from there is the 26 miles.
well, because 26 miles, you could walk at now, granted, it's a long ass walk, but you could walk
So-
probably in
So
7
I
hours.
could walk 26
Yeah,
miles.
I could eat
in,
26 hot dogs.
I could walk
faster than that.
26 miles easily in like 9 days.
I could drink 26 beers in like the course of a football game.
I drink 26 beers on the way home from work most days.
That's the
I would-
47. That's the difference.
I would like to.
It's probably closer
I would
than
like to
you think, though,
drink-
Matt. You're right.
I
Fuck
would
my
like to
phone.
opt in that I would drink 8.73333 beers while I walked 8.73333 miles while eating 8.73333 hot dogs.
Very
You are
important.
not making it more than 3 miles.
What,
That's
in what order?
generous.
What order are you doing that? You have to
Dude,
do the
that's-
run first.
There's
You
no
have to
way
do
you can have those hot dogs while you drink those beers.
That's
No,
what
no,
I'm
no,
saying.
no. Okay.
And
All right.
wa- and- yeah.
So I run 4.36 to the 7 miles, right? And during that time, I drink my beers while I run along. When I get there,
No.
I eat half the hot dogs, and
Oh,
then
come on.
I run back the other
Dude.
4.336.
This actually sounds like this is the kind of shit you could like make a YouTube video.
Is it
of and
okay
post it
if we're
and you
just
get,
like have
7
Chris do
bajillion
this
views.
and watch him vomit a
I
lot?
think we should all do it.
I think you guys. I think you guys forgot that every July 4th, I run a 10K and do all of this.
But you don't do
Chris, you
all of
don't
it
eat
while
not
running.
you don't eat 12 hot dogs while you do it.
You eat 4 hot dogs, you drink 12 beers, and you run like 10 miles. Not
A
well, I guess
5K.
No, no,
is
no,
like-
I ran-
5K is
a
like 3
10K.
miles. That's 3
A
miles.
10K, that's like
I run
5
six
miles.
point. I run 6.2 miles, right?
Yes.
I drink over the course of that day. I drink way over 12 beers, and I think you underestimate
I
how many.
agree
hot
with
dogs
his
I-
beers, but he drinks less hot dogs. What I will say is, look, just in a random Saturday of golf, like I will drink 7,000 to 8,000 Busch Lights,
Okay.
right? Somewhere between 7,000 to 8,000 Busch Lights. But I can only have one hot dog Because if I have 2 hot dogs, I'm going to throw up a Busch Light.
I think
Yeah,
we
or
should
you're
do
gonna.
this.
Yeah.
I think we should all man a leg and see and
Well,
race it side by side. I'll do
have
the
you
running
seen?
portion if
Have
we
you
want.
seen
No,
the
this
I forget what they call it. There's like a name for it, like the Maniac Mile or something, where kids will run. They'll run a mile, 4 laps on a track, and after each lap they have to chug a beer and
it's
eat
supposed
a
to be
hot
so
dog,
hard.
or just chug a beer. I forget which one it is, but yeah, you're like sitting there. You have to chug a beer, then you can't run the next lap until you finish your beer, and then it's like whoever can do it the fastest. And I think someone did it in like 4.5 minutes, like stupid, insane fast, like 4 minute mile basically.
Well, I mean, I
But
did it, but it took 29 minutes.
For the mile? Doesn't
Yeah,
it?
for every lap where you drink a beer in between.
Yeah.
yeah,
I heard it's really hard once you get because it's so carbonated and just like gets all mixed up while you're running and you're
Yeah.
running really hard. It like makes it very uncomfortable to run.
It would have been a lot easier for me to just run the mile and chug all the beers at the end.
I can do that shit.
Yeah.
I can do
Yeah.
that shit in 15 minutes.
Well, have you guys heard of the baseball challenge? 9 beers, 9 hot dogs, 9 innings.
No, I haven't. I'm curious to know if I could definitely do the beer.
Yeah,
part.
so that's the thing too. So yeah, you have to have a beer and a hot dog each inning, and so some innings are long, and you're like, okay, great, and then all of a sudden you get like a 9 pitch inning, and you're like, fuck, or half inning, and you're like, and you gotta like cram it down. So that's something I want to do one of these days, but I'm too fat
We can
to.
do drinking challenges for YouTube lives once we get our YouTube live approved finally.
I love it.
I think that we have to start with the Guinness one though.
Oh,
Oh, with the Jameson shoddy?
No.
Oh.
How many? You mean the Hennessy, the Guinnessy?
Yeah. The Guinness.
No. It's
No,
the other
yeah,
challenge that you talked about. 9 Guinnesses. How quick?
Yeah. Man, nothing looks as beautiful as a freshly poured, freshly settled Guinness draft. Like, oh, I see like a line of those. I just want to chuck them all down.
I can do 9 in 40 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what? I think at the time that we had this discussion, I was like, I'm with Al. I could do 9 in 20. I guarantee now it would take me 40 minutes.
Like I'm gonna chug 3 of them quick, and then I'm gonna pace myself on 5 minutes of beer, basically.
Yeah, I think getting 3 down is easy quickly, and then you're gonna get another like 2 down, and then it's really gonna start to hit you. You're gonna go. Then you're gonna have to basically be chugging them every minute.
Down like,
dude, running and drinking is not fun. The whole point of this conversation is like, is running and drinking fun? And the answer is no, right?
Danny, we pivoted to chugging Guinnesses, but yes.
Yeah, but correct. Guinness is so I can talk about this. Guinness is a light beer disguised as a heavy beer.
Yes.
So like Guinness is lighter than I think a Budweiser. It's not lighter than a Bud Light, but it's lighter than a Budweiser. It's just people think it's creamy and heavy because of the nitro.
How quickly could you chug 9 of them? Comfortably, right? Anyone here could probably get it down in like 18 minutes if they really wanted to, but it's going to be
like life on the line.
9 Guinnesses?
Like, we're talking
dude,
like you win a gift card for like a free beer.
I don't want to drink any 9 alcohols in 9. Dude, I can't do any 9 alcohols in 10 minutes. No.
Okay.
The fastest I can do 9 Guinnesses would be. It's gonna be half hour.
So what I don't want us to do in this like hypothetical challenge that we will do, just like we're gonna do Al kicking the field goal and taking the PK, is that I'm smaller than the 3 of you, and I can tell you that I've chugged 5 Guinnesses pretty much back to back and been wasted, like done for the day. And like I feel like if I have to do 9, it has to be back to back because the minute that I know that I'm wasted,
done.
I'm done.
Chris, how many LBs you carrying these days?
Oh, thank you for asking. And because I can be honest, 211.
Nice.
Okay, yeah. So I got a little more cargo. So okay, yeah. I think I can make a little bit further in before I get floored by the Guinness.
211 with I'm 5'11 Wikipedia.
yeah,
dude.
Versus 5'11".
That's like
Are we all giving our height and weight here? Are we all giving our height and weight here? Because Matt's gonna win this fucking game, and I don't wanna.
No, I just wanted to see if 5
Dude, you
Guinnesses
just
would
made
knock me on
Chris
the
do it. I feel like we all have to now.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. You could have said I haven't weighed myself recently.
No,
or some
you
shit.
just fucking did it to him. Now you have to do it to yourself.
No. Nobody else needs to do this except for Matt.
Well, Al, at least give your height. You're proud of that.
Yeah, I guess. Am I? Yeah. Well, I always said 6'3", and I think I've shrunk like half an inch, so like 6'2".
You shrunk it half an
You
inch?
didn't shrink.
I think so.
Osteoporosis? Your old age?
I don't know.
How did you shrink
I'm a solid 6'2.5", but that sounds stupid to say. So I'm
It's
just
probably
6'2".
wife and kids.
Dude, you only think you're 6'2" because you've lost confidence in your fucking dadhood. You need to just
maybe I'm just
stand
more
up straight.
slouchy these days.
Stand the fuck up straight.
work
You're
on the
6'3".
posture. Okay, 6'3".
Yeah, I think Guinness is going to be a tough one. I'd rather run the distance. My point was, I think I would be worse at the hot dog portion we were talking about earlier.
I can crush the hot dog part. I can crush the hot
With
dog part.
buns? No way, dude.
Yeah, just soak them in water and throw them down the hatchet.
I do think so. So the thing with the hot dogs is, yeah, I don't know. The 26 hot dogs. You know, you look at Joey Chestnut and you're like, oh, that dude eats like 70 in like 5 minutes. That's not human. I don't know what's happening there,
Well, he
but
preps
I
for
could
that
not.
shit. Like without.
I know,
prepping,
I understand, but like realistically, I think I could get halfway there on the hot dogs relatively quick, and then the other half would be like a fucking slog. And I think I might actually be able to like walk 26 miles faster than I could eat 26 hot dogs.
I could definitely do the distance faster. I could definitely do the beers the fastest, right?
Yeah.
My crushing Bushbees, 6 hours. And that's like a very casual pace.
What,
Well,
the running 6:26? Is that what you said?
No, like the Bushies, I could do that 6 hours casually, right?
Oh, yeah.
Part of it is that I don't wanna do the hot dogs.
No,
actually, so Matt, here's the thing. So I did a case race with my buddy Matt in college, and we each got a case of beer, 24 beers, right?
Hmm.
And we each got a Domino's pizza. And this is like a random like Friday night or whatever, and we're like, whoever can finish their case of beer and their pizza faster wins. Okay. And we had a mutual third party there to judge.
Referee.
And yep. And
Who was your third party between you and Simon?
Our friend Tara. So she was on the swim team, but she was there to
I know Tara.
rule.
All right,
yeah.
go on.
So I am just fucking whooping Matt's ass. Like, pizza's gone, and I've drank like 22 of my beers.
Yeah, he was smarter than you. He went,
and I was a solid like at least 6 beers ahead of him.
Right?
I fell asleep holding my last beer, and he woke me up as he was finishing his last one, and I was like, it took me a second to realize, and I started chugging mine, and he beat me. But it was a close race. But so that's
I would have expected this story to go like Al was sleep eating his same piece of pizza for like 30 or 40 days.
30 or 40 minutes maybe. Yeah. But yeah, so I guess that's the other thing to contend with is drinking 26 beers, you got to stay conscious. You know?
I mean, consciousness is relative. Like, I don't know if I'm conscious most of the time.
That's true. I mean, is being drunk being conscious?
Well, I mean, if you're conscious enough to consume all of the beers, then yes.
I guess you're conscious enough.
Yeah.
Like, I'm always conscious enough to grab another beer. But
Matt listens to this podcast too, so he'll love that story, and it'll make him chuckle.
Well, I love me some Matt Simon. I don't know if you know this about me, but like, I was friends with him before I was friends with you, and that was one of the things that I loved about you and me connecting was that I got to get closer to him because I knew him through some other guys from Sigma Chi.
Oh yeah, like Matt Mercer.
Yeah.
And Jeff Garfield. Well, I guess we shouldn't be throwing so many names out.
We just see it. Yeah, we don't need to do all that.
But yeah. All good people, all good guys. Matt also whooped my ass at tennis once. So I considered myself very athletic, and at least post prime, but still very athletic when I was in college, even though I was drinking like a fish. And I was like, and Matt played tennis in high school, and I was like, oh yeah, let's go play tennis. I've never played before, but I feel like confident that I could like give you a good run for your money. He
Well,
fucking
Matt,
mopped
I
the
don't know if you guys know
floor
this
with
about
me,
Matt.
dude. I did not know what was coming, where it was coming from, how to hit it. He was just like, oh, I was running all over the place, and he was just like
So,
dropping them
just to
dimes.
describe Matt as Al and I knew him to you guys, he was a hobbity-looking guy, I guess.
Yeah, he's just a smaller stature.
Okay.
Short, chubby, hairy.
Yeah,
That's why I
all
said
those things
hobbity.
are
Like,
fair. Yeah.
I don't mean to be rude on that front, but like to describe somebody that whooped your ass in tennis and you were surprised, like Bilbo would be a guy you would be surprised to whoop you in tennis, right?
Like, I mean, he doesn't have the build up like Novak Djokovic, you know. So you wouldn't go, oh, this guy's gonna whoop my ass in tennis. And I'm like, I got some size on him,
Honestly,
you know,
if
got some
Novak
height,
Djokovic
some
showed up,
reach.
I think I could kick his ass.
That's probably true. Yeah, a lot of
So-
tennis players, I feel like I could kick their ass.
Well,
Like
most of
in a
them, I
fight.
don't think I would beat them in tennis or
No.
fights, but a lot of them, I think I could beat them in both. Like, so I see where you're coming from.
What? Okay.
Most tennis players, I don't think I could beat them in either, but a lot
I think
of them,
all tennis players, you couldn't beat them in tennis.
No, not close.
Al, you're usually the one who thinks that you're better
Correct.
than
I
everybody
am.
and everything.
I know. But
What
like
I'm saying
Matt, like whooped my ass, and he's not a professional tennis player. So
I want to get a Matt
It
versus
is
Mambo
shifted,
tennis
yeah.
match set up.
okay.
So
It'll happen.
A Matt versus Mambo tennis match. Anyway,
oh,
so
whoa, no, don't do that.
no, it'd be fun. We could
No,
like go root
Mambo
for-
is a sandbagging son of a bitch. He'll just toy with him the whole time and then destroy him. It'll be
But what if
demoralizing.
he
We don't need
loses
it.
and then I could like rub it in Mambo's face? I know somebody who beat him.
What's
That's
a
the thing. He's not
Mambo?
going to lose. Like he's such a cuddly bear until you poke him, and then he comes at you and he hits you that fast ass serve and
Man,
destroys
isn't
your
it
tennis
fun?
game.
Isn't it fun to poke the bear?
I'm a very mediocre tennis player, and Jeff went out there, drank 6 beers, and smoked a cigarette while he was playing me, and beat me so embarrassingly. Manbo beat me in such embarrassing fashion that I was like, "This is not even fun." You're just sitting there blasting a Parliament Light and just.
Matto, we used to play tennis for exercise, and you used to beat me by like 19 points every round.
I'm telling you, this is how good it was. The balls were hit so deep and so fast, like I couldn't get back fast enough. And then as soon as I got back to one, he just dropped it over the net. I'm like, "You're a dick."
Deep and fast. You heard it there.
You did.
The balls.
I can promise you, nobody in my life knows what it's like to be hit deep and fast.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree that no one in your life knows that.
So,
all right, should we talk some sports, or we got any other topics we want to hit on?
Should we talk some Benzema? Should we talk some fucking Benzema? Because
actually, I wanted to jump to that. Like we were talking about, big wins. Let's talk about the team that scores more than once in a month.
Ah,
yeah, that's much more fun.
That's everybody, I think.
Honestly, so in a 190-minute match, there were more goals scored than the last 12 Chelsea matches.
Let's find out. I'll find out the last time they've scored 12 goals. When that was. But you guys.
How long has it been since Chelsea's had 12 goals? Oh God, it's
7. There were 7 goals in that match, so that's what we're looking at.
I don't think Chelsea's had 7 goals since Thanksgiving.
1, 2, 3.
Whoa.
4, 5.
Definitely Christmas.
7. December 27th. They've scored 7 goals.
Okay. So we're talking almost basically 2 months.
Yeah. Yes. They're real good. No, dude.
Chelsea fucking sucks. We haven't had 7 goals since Potter.
Yeah. That was. But speaking of Real Madrid, I thought they were in trouble early, and Madrid just looked sloppy on the onset. That first goal by Nunez was beautiful. I have never seen anything like that.
It looked so effortless. Like he was like, "Oh, I'll just put this in the net." Boop.
Yeah, from behind his I don't even know what you call that. He let it skip past his
Did you guys
first
see
leg and
that
picked it with the back
Salah
leg. Yeah.
I did, but I don't remember it.
Okay, so they had passed it back to
There's
who's their
another. Yeah, Courtois, right?
So they had passed it back to Courtois, and he had just fucked it like he was Mendy, and just
Yeah.
was trying to play it down to
That's
himself,
the
and then
sequel to Bend It Like
bounced it off
Beckham.
his
Fuck it
knee.
like Mendy.
He just bounced it off his knee and gave it to Salah, and then was like, "Oh, now I need to try and play defense." And then
He looked
Salah was
like
like,
Rob
"Oh,
Gronkowski on that play when the Dolphins lateraled
Dolphins
and got
scores
the
touchdown."
touchdown,
That's the
and he was doing the hokey pokey. That's what Courtois looked like.
literally the best description I could ever fucking. Oh, that's
Yeah.
perfect. Yes.
But what's his face? Allison did like the same thing on the second Real Madrid goal. I was
I
like,
think
half of these goals in this match
No, it
were
was not.
because the
It was not
goalie
that bad.
biffing.
It was not that
Oh
bad.
no, I thought it
Yes,
was
it
that
was.
bad.
It was equally as bad.
It was that bad.
Okay.
the ball just bounced off him into the goal.
Yeah.
Those are let's put on the front foot. Those are the two best goalkeepers in the world. Right? They're
Yeah.
pretty much the top two in the world. And for them to make those kind of fuck, you can tell them a lot of pressure. That was
I mean, I would probably argue for Kepa or Pope or something right now, but all right, Matt left us.
Yeah, he'll bounce back in. He had little internet connection issues.
I mean, it happens when you live in Florida.
Yeah, but yeah, that game today was great. It was like goal after goal after goal, and it's fun when that happens, even if the
So-
score's not particularly close.
It
So
was awesome.
the very first goal that was the Nunez the assist from who assisted it? It was it Salah?
I don't know.
Anyway, it was fucking awesome. I remember the replay. I remember who kicked it, but I just can't see his face. I can't see the players. I just see the shape of soccer players kicking it to each other.
Yeah.
If Matt were here, he would be able to fucking name them all. But
Yeah, I mean it came from that area, so I think it might have been Salah, or it might have
I
been
think
Henderson.
no, Salah assisted the first goal. Salah assisted the first goal. That was it.
Yeah, that's right. And then the second goal was the goalkeeper fuck up. And then they had the goal.
Vinny had that great goal where he just like, oh, I'm just gonna throw it at the net and rocket it, and it was just beelined right for the corner. It was great.
But
Did you guys watch the Napoli game at all?
Not a second. I saw the replay
Oh.
of Simmons' goal, and that was it.
I'm sure that their two goals were great, but let's talk about the 5-2 match. 7 goals.
Let's
What, are we
step
talking
back.
football here? It was amazing.
No, let's step back for a second. The Napoli game, obviously the Real Madrid Liverpool game should be the game we're watching, and that was the game I had on until Matt suggested that there's this dual match thing where I can watch both games at the same time while I'm at work and not doing work, right?
All right. Hey, question: are you watching on Paramount?
Yeah, Paramount.
Yeah, because they had the dual split screen. I didn't know if you
I
were
didn't know
watching
that the
Golazo
dual
or
split
something.
screen existed. I was hoping for Golazo because I want Golazo all the time. I want Golazo instead of fucking Red Zone, right? Golazo is the best way to watch sports that exists. And if you could have that production team and those people announcing everything, I would watch everything that way. I watch baseball that way. I would watch everything that way. Golazo is the best way to watch sports that exists.
Yeah.
I was hoping I would be able to get them switching between these two games that way, but it didn't happen. So I had to go to the split match, which is fine. It's fine. We can't pay everybody to do everything. I understand. We can't pay everybody to do everything. And it was good. It was good. Right? I got to watch lots of Benzema goals.
Yeah.
After they were already winning by 1. I had to watch lots of Benzema goals.
Yeah.
After Junior had already won the game for them.
Basically, in the first 70 minutes, the longest we went without a goal in that match was 15 minutes.
It was awesome.
Is that true?
Yeah. I just looked it up.
Every bet we made too, the over hit in the first. Both teams to score hit in the first. So if you bet
I was the one on both teams to score in the first. I had both teams to score and over 2.5. All of that hit within like 8 minutes of the game or something.
Yeah.
If you picked any of the top players to score a goal at any point, that hit Vinicius 2, Benzema 2, Salah, and Nunez.
I didn't bet any of those. The only one that I wanted to bet, I didn't bet, and he didn't score, which was Rodrigo.
Yeah.
It was a good day to be a bettor as long as you didn't think it was
my whole thing we talked about before the game was if Benzema plays, Rodrigo's not going to score. If Benzema doesn't play, Rodrigo will score.
Yeah, literally the only bets I didn't hit today were Valverde to score, which was plus 400, and then I also parlayed that with Osimhen to score.
Well, Valverde, you got fucked because they ended up starting Rodrigo at right wing instead of Valverde.
Well, Valverde is a midfielder, but he has scored.
No, he always plays right wing when Benzema starts at striker.
Okay.
But today they played Rodrigo at right wing, which is so weird to have Benzema and Rodrigo at the same time. Anyway, it was super weird, and they moved Valverde back to right mid, and I was like, I even texted you guys today. I was like, Real Madrid is like fucking serious today. You could tell that they're going to score goals because they have Valverde at right mid.
You did say that.
I feel like Vinicius Jr. is kind of underrated. Like, he's so fucking good.
I mean, by who? Like, everybody thinks he's one of the best players in the world.
Do they, though? I don't know. I feel
everybody
like his name
thinks
doesn't
Junior
come
is
up
one of the best players in the world. Hey, raise your hand if you don't think Vinicius Jr. is one of the best players in the world.
It's pretty good.
Nobody raised their hands. Like, who's underrating him?
I don't know.
Oh, Real Madrid paid like $80 million or $100 million for him. Like, yeah, nobody really rates him high. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, Al?
I think he's better than where people would rank him. Like, if you
so you think his transfer market value is low? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I don't know what that means. I think if you were to rank the top 20 goal scorers, people would have him lower on the list than he should be.
You know, transfer market thing.
Did you guys see that Real Madrid set piece, the corner kick? And I think it was a corner kick, but the guy stepped forward and headed it in. Maybe it wasn't a corner kick, but it was clearly...
Benzema got that shit in, right?
It was the only guy that I don't know who scored today.
But it was, oh my God, it was amazing.
It was Militao.
Just ran from the back post.
Oh, yeah.
He ran up from the back post. It hit his head perfectly. It shot in. I was like, oh my God. Like,
a lot of pretty goals today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was almost like watching Chelsea play and getting João Felix targets if like the whole goal was covered by plexiglass. If you're Chelsea, so like João Felix getting targets from other Chelsea players, and then the whole goal covered by plexiglass.
What do you guys got?
I'm just talking shit about Chelsea. That's all.
Yeah.
What are y'all's thoughts on the matchups tomorrow? Inter Porto and
Inter Porto's an under. Inter Porto's an under, I think. I mean, I don't want to get picks now after I was so fucking hot today. Like I'm almost like reserved to give picks now after we hit like nine.
I think it's
nine yeses today. Like I should like not bet anything tomorrow. But
yeah, Matt, I think it's 2.25 right now. Do you take that, or you eat a little juice?
No,
we have.
Matt, explain.
Go under 2.5.
Explain why we took the under 2.5 last night. You had a great I mean, I bet it last night. Your explanation was so good.
There are two teams that are the worst teams to play in the world. There's a term called shithousery, right? And it's just a matter of turning soccer into bullshit. where you're fouled too hard, you go in too hard, and you don't
Yeah.
care about actually
And who doesn't?
scoring. And there's two teams that do it the best, and the second best team is playing in that game, and that's Porto. Porto doesn't care about scoring goals. They don't. They like to make games as sloppy, as messy, and as disgusting as you can possibly make them. The number one team is Atletico Madrid. They actually don't. I mean, João Felix being out of he probably is in a better offensive system now at this shitty Chelsea than he was with Atletico Madrid because they don't care about scoring any goals. Diego Simeone likes to make it messy. Tomorrow is going to be a rock fight against a team that hasn't been very good on offense. Is Lukaku playing? Okay, right? Like that's fine. And Lautaro Martinez is their other forward. They haven't been very good on offense at all. They're going to make that game so messy. Under, slap the 2.25.
Under.
And 2.5 is really nice, but 2.25 is fine. I love it.
Fuck the quarter bets, guys. You're usually gonna find better value if you find the alternate lines and bet it 2 or bet it 2.5, whichever one you like.
Either way, I could see this game being really messy. It is in Inter, right? It's at Porto tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
No, Inter has the opportunity as the higher seed.
I think it's an Inter.
Is it an Inter? Let me look it up really quick. Either way, Porto has a great way of making things really sloppy. So I kind of like the under on that play. I don't know if anyone else has a feeling there, but
I followed you. I thought it was a great play.
It's in Milan.
I'm gonna bet it right now. Sounds good.
It's in Milan, and so I think there's a situation. I think we talked about this last week, where in Champions League, some teams that are the home teams or the favorite that get the return home game like to make things really slow and low block and try to keep for a draw and assume they're going to win in front of their home crowd. I could definitely see that happening tomorrow. I don't think
Danny. Texas Tech won, by the way, so we made money on that one.
Oh, nice. I mean, you guys shared the Miami pick earlier, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, sorry. We were when just Danny and I were chit chatting before we started. We were talking about how we won money on Miami, and I was talking that I still had a couple plays open, and one of them was Texas Tech plus 2.5, and they won by 11. So that was great.
So while we're kind of in between things and we're waiting on apparently Danny to return, fun fact that I think Danny shared today was that Mountain Dew was originally made to mix with like whiskey, bourbon whiskey.
Moonshine, right?
Yeah, like Mountain Dew it's a code word for like moonshine. I went and did a lot of research after that, and it turns out spot on. So when we were drinking that in college, when we were mixing that shit with whiskey in college,
we were doing it right.
We were doing it right.
God,
Mountain Dew as a term for moonshine is pretty well known, I think. But as a mix, like the soda as a mixer for moonshine, and that's where its name came from, is a new idea to me. That's just delicious, man.
Mountain Dew or Mountain Dew?
Mountain Dew.
Yeah, we mixed it with we used to mix it with wild turkey and be like, well, it's pretty good just as long as you don't look at the color.
Do you guys drink certain sodas for certain occasions? Like I never drink Mountain Dew, but every time I go to Costco and get a hot dog, I always get a Mountain Dew to go with it.
Really?
Ooh.
Always. Normally my go-to is a Dr. Pepper if I'm drinking soda, but I always get a Mountain Dew with my hot dog.
I love a Dr. Pepper, but I always drink them more during college football season because the commercials are on like every 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, we're in Dr. Pepper.
Every time you drink one, you feel good that you're like donating a little bit of money towards some college kids like free semester or whatever it is.
I always drink much more of it during the fall. I don't know why, not like in any particular reason. It must be easily influenced by the marketing.
When they do the halftime toss football thing, that's like my favorite thing. Dr. Pepper sponsored halftime show where they pay for someone's school for a year if throw the ball through the hole enough times.
Love it. And I love how no one even throws it like a football anymore. It's always a chest pass.
Yeah.
They should no, fuck that. They should make you throw it with a spiral. You should get a bonus, but you should get 2 points for everyone you throw like a spiral through the hole. Because that's not
What
football.
if you throw underhand with a spiral? Like
That's
a bowling
not
ball.
It's a
okay.
spiral. Spirals.
1.5. Overhand with a spiral 2. Underhand with a spiral 1.5. That bullshit chest pass 1.
I'm surprised they don't set up sideways and just like option those things in. That's what I'd be doing.
Oh my god!
You think
that's
you're better
great.
at optioning a football versus just doing that?
I think I could option them faster than I could like throw them and grab them and throw. So I think I could get more of them off faster, and overall my hit wouldn't be impacted as much, and I'd end up with a higher total. But I've never done this, and I have no idea. I'm just talking out of my ass.
No, I'd like to try the Dr. Pepper challenge, scholarship challenge, what the hell it's called.
Next time we're on YouTube Live.
Also, one more bet I like for that game tomorrow. You may want to look at Taremi for Porto to score a goal.
Oh.
If there's a goal scorer in that game, and it's not going to be great odds. It's probably going to be like plus 200. But
I feel like Porto's not going to score is what I feel like.
For the extra juice, I think if someone's going to score, it's going to be Porto. But Porto loves a rock fight.
Like I'm going to look up how much. Like it's got to be like minus 200 or something for a clean sheet, right?
For a clean sheet?
Inter to keep a clean sheet is actually plus 110. Inter shutout win is plus 165. I'm going to bet the Inter clean sheet plus 110.
You could probably bet both clean sheets, and you may get them.
Porto clean sheet is plus 350.
Really? That's interesting. Oh, I may bet Porto if the juice is that favorable. Oh. That's interesting. Either way, I see this being 1-0, 1-1. I don't see you getting 2.5 goals. And I love Taremi's awesome. He's really good. He's going to be the best offensive player out there.
He's the guy who whooped ass for Morocco in the World Cup, right?
No, he's Iran, I think.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Iran. I'm thinking. I think he scored against England or something.
He's the guy that was super fucking handsome.
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
That I kept talking about. I don't know if you remember this, but I really like really handsome players that played in the World Cup.
Let's see. Anytime goal scorer.
Yes.
Eden Dzeko and Lukaku have the best odds. Where is Taremi? Plus 310. Ooh, and Lautaro Martinez. So
plus 310 is actually pretty good for him.
Yeah, I kind of like that more. And now it's a dangerous spot. Will Porto get a goal?
No. Like I don't like Porto scoring, but I like if they do, it to be him.
Who is Tony Martinez is the other forward who will probably be starting tomorrow. Man, they are littered with injuries. I didn't realize that looking at their injury sheet. It'll be a fun game. Tony Martinez is plus 420. If Porto score a goal, it's going to be Taremi. And I like plus 310. Actually, I like it better with the 300s, knowing there's a considerable risk there. You guys want to talk Leipzig and Man City?
I was just about to say, let's talk about Man City.
Let's talk about Man City.
Or Leipzig.
So Pep loves to play these games very uncomfortably close when he gets to this stage, and he's never been able to surpass that final hurdle and get his Champions League title. And he's like a lot of the other very experienced, very professional managers where he doesn't go out and show a lot in the first leg and then he tries to win the second leg. So I don't know what to bet here. I do kind of like Mahrez to score a goal. Mahrez has been in pretty good form. I do kind of like Andre Silva to score a goal for Leipzig as well. I don't think Nkunku's playing. If he was playing, I wouldn't like that as much. But I think from what I can see on the injury list, he's got a muscle injury and doubtful.
I don't like Silva as much as the other one you said.
Oh, Mahrez is in really good form.
Mahrez has been on fire.
I got a bet.
Oh, what do you got?
Draw plus 270.
Ooh, so you're on that same tip. You think Pep's going to keep it close? So would you bet the under then too?
It makes sense if they're going to draw that they're probably not going to. That Leipzig's probably not going to score 2
I don't see
plus.
Leipzig scoring 2.
Kind of with Al here, where you were sending me some numbers, Matt, before today's games, where like the home teams like always either draw or cover.
They keep it close. The team getting the return leg likes to keep the game close, right?
Yeah.
And those are the favorites usually.
So I think on this, like, obviously that didn't happen today on either team.
No, Napoli. We could talk about that game in a second, but neither of those.
Napoli fucked them up because Napoli is one of the best teams in the fucking world right now,
They're fucking terrifying. If anyone's playing Napoli, I know it's not a big team.
Let's not go into it. Let's not go into it.
We'll talk about
then
that.
Madrid fucked them up because like Benzema played, right? That's why.
Benzema.
So-
I think
like,
that
That just
agree.
let's just say that just fucking happened. So like those two things happened.
Yes.
So like let's just like eliminate those two from the
The thought process.
data.
Those are outliers. They're not the normal practice. And I
Right.
agree with you.
Like if Benzema plays, it shouldn't be part of the data set of regular games.
You don't think Erling Haaland gets that same credibility? I know he hasn't.
Not
done it.
anymore. Not anymore. He got it for the first half of the Premier League. I don't think he does anymore.
Yeah, I think Pep fucked shit up.
I do. I think Pep big brained himself a little bit when he got rid of Cancelo. He was like, "I don't need you." I'm like, "That's like one of the best center backs in the world."
You can't get rid of Cancelo.
So here's my thoughts on the matches tomorrow. Now that I've just kind of taken a look and have taken it all in. So
Tell me the bets you're making, Al.
Well, yeah. So I took draw in both matches. I took Inter to keep a clean sheet, and I took the under in Inter Porto. And the reason I'm doing those is we've had now 6 Champions League matches in this stage. Not a single one is drawn. Typically, the sports books are rooting for draws in these matches because people love to bet one side or the other.
I feel like I'm so in on this whole fucking thing.
Another thing, typically unders are profitable for the sports books in matches like these two in Champions League. We've had now 5 of 6 matches go under with 2 left. So I would expect one of these 2 matches probably to go over, but I'm not trying to pick which one. And I think I'm better suited to just take 2 draws tomorrow and hope for an Inter clean sheet, and maybe we get a 0-0 draw on that match, and then maybe we get maybe Leipzig and Man City can draw, and I come out way ahead tomorrow if that's the case, instead of just a little bit. So that's my thought.
Al, this is why I'm backing you on the draw with Leipzig and City. Is I don't think Man City's going to send out their A squad. I always send out, it's almost like they always play to win the Premier League and not the Champions League.
This guy gets it.
No, that's the thing. That's the thing. They care way more about Premier League than they do really any, not just Champions League, but like any other competition.
Who do they have coming up in Premier League?
Chelsea.
Let's see. They play Bournemouth on Saturday. So yeah, they might actually show up for this match, but they also might just be dicking around and happy to take a draw.
They're gonna dick around.
They're gonna dick around.
The injury report looks like De Bruyne is doubtful. Aymeric Laporte, who hasn't been playing that much, is doubtful.
Laporte hasn't played since.
Yeah.
And John Stones has been a good rotational defender. Like they expect Walker, Ruben Diaz, Akanji, and Ake in the back.
Yeah.
Silva, Rodri, and Gundogan, and then Mahrez, Holland.
Rodri's gonna play. I can almost.
Holland, you said Mars, Holland, and what?
Grealish are their expected.
Oh,
I'm
Oh,
Grealish or
boy.
Foden, right? Flip a coin, it'll be one of those two. Mahrez.
I feel like they've been playing Grealish a lot, and I haven't seen Phil Foden out there like almost at all.
No, I haven't seen him either recently.
Because every second you see him, he's scoring a goal.
And, well, every second I see him, he looks like a stupid idiot that is.
Does he have
Yeah,
those
no,
haircuts?
bad haircut,
haircut.
goal scored. Those are his two things.
Well, if you want to get weird with it, I like Riyad Mahrez to score a goal tomorrow, and that is plus 240. And I like Andre Silva to score a goal tomorrow, and that'd be plus 270.
I like that one better.
Silva?
All right, guys. I'm going to bed.
All right, buddy. I'm not saying those are good if you want to just get some more juice on it. If there are people who are going to score the goal, I think Mahrez has been playing in fantastic form. And he can score from creative ways. He also is usually the PK taker.
I don't mean to bail on you guys. I'm just saying it's.
No, you're good.
Go ahead, buddy.
Go to bed, Bo. Night.
Andre Silva, you could choose between him and Timo Werner. And God, I would love for Timo Werner to be the goal scorer, but I'm hip to that game against him. I've seen that run a few times. And Andre Silva.
Yeah. I feel like he probably does better in the Bundesliga.
He does. He's playing well.
So maybe, I don't know. Maybe he shows up. But yeah, I'm never gonna bet on Timo Werner to score.
I love
whatever
him.
the odds are, they're not good enough.
Timo Werner to run really fast and miss a shot.
Yeah. If you give me shot attempts over on Timo Werner, I would consider that, but yeah, not on actual goals scored.
No. But I like your tie. I was kind of leaning to bet Leipzig anyways here, just knowing Pep's MO. And we say this now, and Man City can go score 5 on them tomorrow and dog walk them if they really wanted to. But I think they're going to do pretty conservatively.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at plus 265 and plus 270. So if one of these draws hit, I'm having a winning day.
Yep.
Even with my clean sheet, if it misses,
There hasn't been a draw yet in Champions in the knockout stage. I feel like there had to be.
It was I just looked at it. It was 1-0, 1-0, 2-0, 1-0. Come on, go back. Shit.
Yeah, you're right. Bayern Milan beat Tottenham. I forgot about that. I thought that was a draw. Yeah, we're in for another great day. I do want to talk about Napoli really quick. If everyone's not paying attention, Napoli's terrifying. That is not the team you want to face. I know it isn't like the sexy. It doesn't sound like Juventus or Inter or Milan. That's the best team in Italy. That may be the best team in that part of the world. I would love to watch a matchup between Bayern Munich and Napoli because they play very similar.
The Milan squads have not been impressive lately, so I would definitely say Napoli's been the best Serie A squad so far this year.
Oh, the numbers are tremendous for here. I'll run down the Serie A standings. So Napoli's in first, and it's not that close. They have 62 points, and Inter is in second with 47. They're up 5 wins on Inter. They're terrifying. Their goal differential is 56-15. So they have a plus 41 compared to Inter's plus 17. They're not to be fucked with.
They score goals too, yeah?
Oh, they score a shit ton of goals. I'm surprised they kept it to 2 goals today. They had a lot of opportunities.
Because a lot of the Serie A, a lot of Italian teams, the focus is on defending first and foremost, and then they get goals on top of that. Great, but Napoli seems to be doing well defensively, and also hey, we're going to put 2 in every match.
Osimhen has been fucking awesome for that team too. He's so damn fast, and they cross really well. That's their best thing. They're a heavy possession team, like a lot of the signature teams in England, right? 60% they pass it around, but their cross game is really good. That's a great team. That's a super.
I don't know if it was a CBS Sports newsletter this morning or if I saw it somewhere else, but I did see someone alluding to Napoli potentially making semifinals and champions this year, which feels like a perfectly reasonable expectation from a squad as talented as they are, especially when you have teams like Liverpool shitting the bed, and Man City is never really in it to win it. Down year for Chelsea. It looks to me like it's a Real Madrid's to lose, and Napoli can make it as far as they can without having to beat them. It's kind of my take on it.
I agree. I wonder if there's an early bet to say, so this is the knockouts, the next one to get to the semifinals. I think it would be interesting to take Napoli. If you look at,
Did they do Champions League futures?
I don't know. I'm sure you could pick the winner, but I don't know if you could say who would be a semifinalist. I'd be curious because, look, against Chelsea or Dortmund, I like Napoli. Against Milan, I like Napoli. I like them against RB Leipzig, which it won't get there. I like them. I think Bayern would be really interesting. I think they could beat Tottenham too.
Yeah.
So for sure. I think Madrid is a terror, right? So if it's drawn Madrid-Napoli, don't love that. But all the other matchups I kind of like. I think
so. Matt, so there are 4 squads who have better than 10-1 odds to win Champions League. Do you want to guess which 4 squads it is and what order they are in?
Lowest odds are Club Brugge.
Oh no, I mean like the top 4 most likely teams to win it.
Oh, I'm sorry. The top 4 most likely to win. Chris, do you want to take a guess?
Napoli.
So they're fourth most likely to win at plus 700.
Plus 7.
So number 3 would be Bayern.
So Bayern's number 2 at plus 350.
So then number 3 is Real Madrid? And Man City, I'm guessing, is 1.
Correct. Yeah, Real Madrid's plus 600 to win champions, which I feel like I should place a bet on that. And then Man City's plus 180.
I mean, the way they look today, I might take that.
I also think there's a lot more wrong with that Liverpool team that meets the eye. Look.
Yeah, Liverpool, defensively, they're a hot mess.
They beat a Newcastle team the other day really impressively. And they did score the 2 goals before the red card happened on their goalie, before Newcastle lost their keeper and they were down a man. That was a good win. The rest of it, they technically tied a Chelsea team a couple weeks ago. The expected goals were like astronomically better for Chelsea, right? They lost 3-0 to the Wolves. I don't think that's a very good team right now. And their defense, it's all on the defensive side. And Mo Salah doesn't look like himself. It's like, have you watched Son this? Like, he just disappeared. He was tremendous last year. I don't know what's going on with Salah. Like, something's not right on Jurgen Klopp's side. And I think Real Madrid's too fucking good not to be right.
I think Liverpool's midfield is just ass. I don't think it's very good. But who?
Robertson's okay.
Yeah, and then I think Fabinho is
Henderson. I'm sorry, Robertson's.
Yeah. Robertson's our defender. Yeah, Henderson's the other midfielder. And then they started some 18-year-old or something today. But I think that's where Liverpool's issue is they've got the defenders who can transition the ball, they can move the ball forward, but there's no one to receive that ball and get it to the guys who put it in the net.
Well, they were really banking on several players that just didn't work out, right? And happens in transfers. Naby Keita was someone they really had a lot of hopes for, and he's been a ghost recently. James Milner is not good. Robert Firmino's great. He's just old, right? He's just older now.
He's been hurt too. That's the thing. He's been out for a month or more, I think.
Yeah, he can be really good, especially on the attacking side. Just a little bit. He's 31, right?
But Real Madrid is defending Champions League champions, right? They won last year.
Yep.
And they're plus 600. So I am allergic to betting futures. This one's only stretching out till June 10th. But I am really tempted to bet Real Madrid plus 600. I would put $100 on that. I feel like they are the obvious team to win this thing this year.
Yeah, they've been really good. Everyone loves Man City because they have the most talent, but I don't know if that's true. It depends. Like, I don't think Kamavinga is good enough. I know he's like the heir apparent in that center mid. I'll be curious to see how that works out. They got rid of Casemiro and kept Camavinga specifically for this, so obviously they believe in it. But I don't know how I feel about it. I didn't love Valverde in the midfield today too, but clearly that's Toni Kroos's spot. Toni Kroos is hurt, right?
Yeah.
They're going to get better from this, but the back line looked okay. Carvajal, sorry. When they get Mendy back and it's not Carvajal in that back right position, they'll be even better. They actually had a not their best squad today, and they look pretty fucking good. You know what? I talked myself into it. I like it with you, buddy. I'm looking at
I mean, yeah, and then Man City's going to go out tomorrow and they're going to win like 5-0 and look dominant, and we're going to go, oh, well, yeah, I forgot about Man City, that awoken the sleeping giant or whatnot. But I do really think that's a great value on Real Madrid, whether they end up winning it or not. I just think is a good bet regardless. But
is there bets in semifinalists? I'm guessing Napoli's not a good bet if they're.
So all I saw was just to win it. Was just a winner, Champions League winner. But
I don't think Napoli has the chops necessarily to win it, but I do think they can make things really friggin' fun on the way there, right? Because if you're going through a Man City and Real Madrid are a different challenge. Bayern is also a very professional challenge. They're not the same team without Lewandowski in the middle. They've clearly don't look as terrifying on the offensive side, but it's still freaking good. It's not the team you want to mess around with.
Yeah, I mean the names don't scare you, right? But the
they have
the way they play is good.
Musala is going to be $100 million player very soon if he hits the transfer market. Alphonso Davies wasn't even good enough to play in the game against PSG, and he's awesome. He's one of the best in the world. So that with João Cancelo now back there too, that's a really, really professional squad. And Kimmy's the linchpin, that center mid that can make everything. Where Kimmy's the best in the world at center mid, and he makes everything run around.
I wanted to hit on a little bit of college basketball before we wrap up here, since we're nearing the end of the regular season, getting into conference tournaments and then March Madness. So one thing I wanted to share that a lot of people who are into gambling probably are already aware of. You guys might already be aware of this, and people who are listening to this might also be aware, but I'm just going to say it to reiterate in case you haven't heard this. But basically, for the past 10 plus seasons, I think, the national champion has been a KenPom top 40 offense and a KenPom top 22 defense. I think the only teams that fit that bill currently are Houston, Tennessee, and Kansas. So if you're looking for your team to pick honestly, I would pick all of those three teams to make the Final Four or at least the Elite Eight, if not the Final Four, depending on if they end up facing each other before then. You've got a number of contenders that are either a top 40 offense or a top 22 defense. Most of those are going to be top 40 offenses that are also going to be tourney bound. Danny would have loved to chime in here on Miami, who is a great offense. Defensively, they're pretty bad. But I really think they can get in good shape leading into the tournament, make a run here. And Sweet 16 is my floor for them. But I could see them making another Elite 8 run like they did last year. It's a very different roster, but Larinaga loves to. I don't know. He gets those guys in position to win. I don't know. He gets the team playing well, so it's a fun team to watch. And I guess that's it. That's how I want to kick this off. So I don't know. You guys have any thoughts on these college basketball teams?
No, I think that's really good breakdown. I do agree with you with Miami. They look like a good unit, right? Like they're like the sum of the parts kind of approach. They play really well at home. And then get a top 3 seed and get that Orlando seeding and not have to go out west or up north somewhere, I think would be hugely advantageous for them. And I think they're probably right on the fence right now. What are they?
Yeah, I think they're ranked like 13th, but I don't see them in any of these like top 4 seed, um,
because the
bubble
ACC
watch shit.
sucks.
Yeah, so I think they're probably gonna end up being like, I don't know, 6th seed maybe, which is kind of a shame for them, but I'd love to see them, at least be a 5 or higher. Um, I think they are, if they're shooting hot, they can beat any team in the country. But they can go on cold streaks offensively, make dumb decisions with the ball, and then fall behind. And they are good enough to get back in a game when that happens, but I doubt they're going to be good enough to do that against top competition. So
Now there's some really scary teams. That Alabama team, I know, like they can be one of the scariest teams in the country. Houston's really freaking good. I
yeah,
don't love Purdue. I know you and I talked about the center is just big. He's not good.
yeah,
He's just real big.
yeah.
Uh,
Zach Edey, yeah, he's like 7'5" or something, and he like, I mean, it's like once you hit 7 feet, it looks like you do not care at all.
and the Big
Like
East
every
is
7-footer, it just looks like he's just like, I don't know, half-assing it, but like still dominant.
so
Crazy.
what's the stat again? Ken Palm, top 40 offense, top 22 defense. Is that what
Correct.
it is?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Let me see if I can pull all the teams and make sure we have a full list.
Yeah, I mean it's bound to change between now and I guess there's still a few games left to be played, so we're talking about 2 weeks before conference tournaments, and then once that wraps, another week or two after that. So we're talking 3+ weeks out before that gets settled. But there are a number of teams that are within range of those. But I think just Houston, Tennessee, and Kansas are the ones that fit currently. The Alabama team, that's another thing this year is normally there's like if not wire to wire, a very long run of a team holding down the top spot, the clear number one team in the country, so to speak. That hasn't been the case this year. It's like number one. It's like being number one is a curse almost this year. I think Houston's been number one for the largest portion of the season, or Purdue maybe has the two of them. But I think Alabama spent time at one, Gonzaga was at one, Tennessee was at one. So a lot of shifting at the top there. So there's not really like a obvious choice to win this thing currently.
Is there a team that's more ripe to get upset in as far as a top 8 team right now to get upset in the first round than Virginia? Everyone loves Virginia, and it's the Tony Bennett style of make things real sloppy and then score just enough points. I don't think this team's got it this year, which would suck for the ACC, right? I think we're all ACC fans here. It's safe to say. I'd love to see the conference do well because it just means more when the ACC does well. Everyone knows this, but I don't think that Virginia team's very good this year. I think they're going to be exposed.
Yeah, I think the Big East has a lot of teams that are likely to get exposed in the tournament. There are teams that are good and they can scrap and they will be in their games. But Marquette, UConn, Xavier, I think of the three that are looking to be in the tournament. I think those are all teams that could easily fall out in the second round, maybe get upset in the first, depending on where they match up with.
Yeah.
The Big 12, I think I feel good about.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Texas is a team that that's a very good team. Kansas State. So the good thing about Kansas State, or the cool thing about Kansas State, so if you remember, the Florida Gators had a guard on their team that collapsed on the court, Keontae Johnson. This was, I think, 2 years back now.
The game in
Basically, they
Tallahassee.
had to, he like collapsed on the court. They had to revive him. The players decided to keep playing the game, but he essentially had to get a pacemaker, and it looked like he wasn't going to play anymore. Well, he ended up getting cleared, not by Florida Gator doctors, but he got, so he transferred. I think he's doing grad school at Kansas State now, and he got approved to play by the team doctors there. And so Keontae Johnson gets to play for Kansas State now, and they are a feisty squad. So I really like all of these Big 12 schools that look like they're going to be dancing. That's Baylor, Kansas, Texas, and Kansas State. So those are good teams to consider in your bracket for making a run. And then it would be Alabama, Tennessee, Houston. They're all big schools, but those are the teams that I think are going to comprise the majority of the Elite Eight, I would say.
I think that I agree with everything you said. I feel like one team that you didn't give enough love to in there was Alabama. I feel like they must have taken some money from their football program. I mean, because honestly, who can compete with those dogs anyway? But their basketball program is like I've watched several of their games this season and last season, and it's kind of painful to say it, but I think that all of a sudden SEC is a solid basketball conference outside of Kentucky.
Yeah, oh my God, yeah, Kentucky has been, Kentucky and Louisville have both been dog shit this year, and you can throw UNC in that too. Really, UNC
Think
might
about
not
the
even make
Blue
the tournament.
Bloods. Think about the traditional Blue Bloods. Even Duke's not very good this year. They're going to end up zipping in because of Duke. I mean, what is North Carolina, like the last four in some shit? That team has like no tier one or quadrant one wins.
Yeah.
But if you win it, all right, if you win a conference, if you win the conference tournament, you're in. And I don't feel like we can say that UNC is gonna like totally shit the bed and not compete somehow. Like it's just.
I mean, I think they're leaning heavily on the run they made last year to, to their credit, they made a run in the conference tournament and then went and made it to the finals last year, I think, right? After a pretty average or mundane regular season, but they're not going to do it again. It's not a very good NC or UNC team. I would say even the same for Duke. I don't know if either of those teams get in. If I were betting on it, I'd probably bet that neither of them make it. Maybe one of them squeezes in, but
what are the chances that the Seminoles wake up and start playing basketball?
0.000. That is a terrible team, and
it's the worst team I've ever seen. Like
that by far the worst team.
Oh my God, it breaks my heart. Here we are. We gave up being a football school so that we could be a basketball school, and now we're giving up being a basketball school so we can be a football school, I guess.
I think this opens up a wider conversation, right? I think a lot of the ACC teams have relied on their legacies, not Florida State particularly, right? The legacies rather kind of short-lived.
Duke, UNC,
Syracuse. Yeah. They relied on their legacy more than adapting to the idea that the landscape has changed. You can't just go out there and say, like, sell the Duke, North Carolina name. That may matter to some kids, right? It does. But you know what matters more? A couple bucks in their pocket, right? There's a reason that Wake Forest, Pittsburgh, Miami, all the ones that Boeheim shitted on are playing really well. They're willing to invest in their programs, and the investment has come in a different fashion. And it's going to be the same thing in football. This year, you're going to see a fucking chasm between the haves and the have-nots. You're going to see 20 teams that are loaded and 80 teams that suck.
Well, I don't think I don't think it's a coincidence that if this happened to coincide with, Coach K, Roy Williams hanging it up, I think they're saying, recruiting is tough enough on its own, and having a name that can draw top talent to you on its own makes that job a lot easier. And having to contend with paychecks and boosters and getting funds in, not that these guys weren't about to retire anyway, but I think that certainly makes it an easier decision to say, I don't need the headache. Let someone else sort it out.
And let's not get it twisted. These guys have been getting money forever, right? I doubt Carmelo Anthony didn't get a bag at Syracuse. It's just become far more competitive, and where there's a lot of fundraising going at places like Marquette, Providence, all these traditional Big East teams or Big 12 teams that have a giant backing. They're going to be able to find that money. And if the ACC doesn't adjust quick, and I'm talking to you, Florida State, you figured it out in football how to retain talent. It's going to be a little bit different in basketball, and you're going to evolve or die. If not, we're going to be terrible because this is just an awful program. That was my full circle conversation, getting it back to Florida State. But I also think that's the reason the ACC looks so shit this year is they relied on their power and not realizing the landscape has changed.
But, I mean, to be honest, we had some good games when we were in school there. We're talking 17 years ago. Some shit, but, we saw Florida State win one NCAA tournament, and that was COVID year.
Yeah, 2020. Well,
they were gonna win. I know it. I fucking know it.
They were.
But outside of that, that was the team of destiny.
Yeah, it was. But I think that the thing here is we're not getting those top recruits anymore in the way we were for a couple of years ago. We barely have. This is really inside Florida State. We have a top 60 recruit coming in. That's the only one in the class. Last year was a disappointment with the recruiting class. I think you're seeing that if you're a top 50 recruit, there's a little bit of cash incentive, and we need to change the way we approach and coach. And you need to be more of a fundraiser. Someone needs to be a fundraiser on the squad in order, in the coaching staff, who's got a knowledge of the game, knows what they're looking for, but also knows how to make sure that these collectives can get the money to the right person at the right place. And basketball's always been the most terrible with this. Will Wade is done with this. Louisville's a disaster because of a misappropriation of funds. But it's legal. You got to go get it. You got to go get that cash. And I don't think it's surprising when you see a team like Miami get top players, and then everyone knows the John Ruiz situation. Got a lot of money. It's not surprising. They're getting all these good players.
Got money, you know it.
Got money, you know it.
Sorry. Thank you for, talking with me about that. I know that we're a Miami first podcast, Jets second podcast.
No, but I'm excited for the tournament. I've been watching very little because of Florida State, and I've been watching a lot more pro this year, a lot more NBA. But who's not going to be? That week of March is going to be just a waste of time. I'm going to sit here and do.
Speaking of pro, the Hawks fired the head coach today.
We saw McMillan got fired. There's a lot of moves around the NBA. I love my favorite move is Russell Westbrook 3 years ago said he would never go to the Clippers because he wanted to be with the premium franchise in LA, and he's in the Clippers now on his own accord, which is interesting.
I think he's proven that teams can't win a championship with him, and so who wants him?
He just doesn't do anything spectacular. He's an unbelievable athlete. He just doesn't do anything that the new NBA needs very well. He doesn't shoot the ball well enough, and he can do that. You want to shoot close to the hoop or far from the hoop, but not in between. He does it close to the hoop. He's so bad at the far from the hoop, and he's terrible on defense.
Yeah.
I saw Kevin Love is in Miami now. Him and Bam Adebayo were talking shit to each other, which is great. Did you see that? He said it's you better make some fucking shots, Bam said to him. He's like, yeah, you better open some fucking holes for me. And they had this conversation back and forth. It was fun.
Love it.
I don't know what the hell that'll do. That team.
The champion's definitely coming from the East, though, right?
It's
the only realistic team that is going to win it from the West is the Nuggets.
Denver or Dallas, if Dallas is good now. If Dallas, Kyrie is a special talent. If he can make it all work and keep it together, him and Luka are interesting enough. But outside of that,
when you can see the world flat, it's a whole different world.
You got a good vantage point. You got a much better vantage point than us round earth seers.
Us rounders.
Pay that man his money.
But I think it would be Boston, Milwaukee, or Philadelphia.
Yeah.
As one of the champions this year.
It's going to be basically. I think it's going to be a lot more fun watching the East Conference playoffs than the West.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of hangers on. Cleveland's good. They're not bad. Miami is a weird team. I don't think any really one wants to face them in the first round. It's not like the dream matchup, even though they've been shit this year. They can't make a shot.
Are the Grizzlies in the West?
Yeah, they're second. They're a number 2 seed right now. I still don't think they have enough.
So you might have a good Western Conference Finals, maybe, if you get Nuggets Grizzlies or Nuggets Mavs or whatever it is. But
yeah, so it's Grizzlies are in the 2 spot. Sacramento's in the 3, which is fun. That's fun to say.
I didn't realize San Antonio was decent at all. I thought they were still trash. Oh, you said Sacramento. Sorry, yeah.
San Antonio
Sacramento
is 14-45. They are trash.
Yeah, okay. What Tyrese Halliburton doesn't play for Sacramento anymore, does he?
No, he is in Indiana. No. I believe.
Is he in San Antonio?
No, Halliburton should be in Indiana. Let's see. They just have a really good.
Who the hell is on that Kings team then?
You've got DeMontis Sabonis from Indiana, the big center, who's been really good for them. They have Keegan Murray, the rookie. Fox and Monk, De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk have been really good. Kevin Huerter, Atlanta's own, or I feel like he was in Atlanta forever. And then you got Harrison Barnes. They're just a good young team.
Matthew Dellavedova, apparently. Does he still play? This is just old information. I don't know. It popped up on Google. No, he's still on the roster apparently. 32.
Yeah, they're
Harrison Barnes. Man,
it's a team you can root for.
Yeah, well, of course. Anytime the Kings are even flirting with playoffs, it's they have my full support. Who's coaching the Kings?
I have no fucking idea who coaches the Sacramento Kings.
Because whoever that is needs a pay raise. Mike Brown.
Get your boy some money. Someone get Mike Brown, put some money in his hand. He deserves it.
Yeah. Is he he's a really good coach?
Yeah, Mike Brown's been doing it forever.
Huh.
Yeah. It's not his first stop for sure. Cleveland forever. Where was he also? He was a Laker coach, I think, for a very unusual time period. But I know he was in Cleveland. That's where I think about him from.
Yeah.
Which was probably 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Just getting old.
Man. Anything else you chuckleheads want to touch on?
I got nothing else.
I'm pretty drunk.
Porto under tomorrow.
Do it.
Porto under draws.
Draws across the board. Porto under.
Cool. That's it. We're all done. Well done, boys.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
Night, Joey.
Night.